Hey, I'm Sheldon. I'm going to show you how to put these seat covers on the rear seat of a Toyota Tundra Crewmax. The first step before you even start putting the covers on is to take off all three of the headrests. And on the two outside headrests, all you have to do is push the button on the side of the headrest right here, pull it up, then it tips forward, and you press in both buttons, and it pops out. On the center headrest, you can just pull it straight up until it stops, press in that button on the side, and pull it up. The first piece that we're going to cover is the 60 portion back. So the seat is called a 60-40, where 60% of the seat is one bench on the driver's side, 40% of the seat is the bench on the passenger side. So to cover this portion, we're just going to fold it forward, and you do that by pulling up this center loop right here. Pull it up, it releases the seat back, and you can fold it forward. Now I've got the cover for it, and I'm going to start by undoing all of the hook and loop fasteners on here. Now this looks like it's going to be really difficult because there's a lot of flaps. You got the armrest to deal with, you got the seat belt to deal with, but in all reality, it's not very hard. So we'll just fold the seat forward and then run the cover underneath of the seat belt like that. And then you're going to want to make sure that the TigerTough tag is facing the door, and then the hole in the center for the armrest lines up with that. That way you know you've got it going on the right direction. And so I've just kind of looped it over the seat, hooked it on there, and we'll start pulling it down. But then before we get down too far, I'm just going to pull the armrest out of that hole and just start pushing it down further. Now we'll start working everything across the top of the seat out of the holes in the cover for it. So this is just a little tag that shows you where the car seat top tether anchor is at down the back. So we'll pull that out. We got the loop here for releasing the seat back, and then we've got the headrest trim. And what I'm doing right now is just taking the cover and stretching it around that trim, and then it pops underneath, giving you a nice clean finished look. And then we'll do the same on this side. Pop that out. I'll just pull the cover down, and then we'll stretch it right around that headrest trim like that. That way everything looks neat and clean. Alright, next up we're going to take care of the center armrest right here. So I just pushed all that inside there to get it kind of fit into the shape of that hole. And now we've got this flap right here that's going to run up behind the armrest, and then it's going to stick inside here to make everything nice and finished. This takes a little bit to get in there, so what I'm doing is just pushing it underneath the armrest, and then I'm actually moving the armrest up and down because that helps work the cover through there while I'm pushing it. Once I can grab it from the other side, I'll just pull it up. Just like that. Now, we'll just stick this up inside there, and this is going to be kind of loose and messy looking until you get the cover completely fastened on. So don't worry about that. There we go. Now we're going to take all three of these, we're going to push them between the seat back and the seat bottom, and then they'll wrap up around the back and stick to the cover. And I find it easiest to tip the seat about 45 degrees like this, because that gives you a nice gap to push the flaps through. And while you push them through, it's nice to keep your hand over top of the Velcro like this, because otherwise it sticks to the back of the seat, and when it sticks on there, it is hard to get it off. Okay, now with all three of these pulled through, what we need to do is pull them as tight as possible, because the tighter that you get these pulled, the better your cover's going to fit, the better it's going to stay on. So I like to just grab them, pull them up good and hard, fasten them on. There we go. Now we got that on. The holes in the back of the cover should let you access both of your car seat tether points, and the latch to hold the seat back up should be lined up with that hole. So we're good to go. Now we're gonna cover the center armrest, and this is pretty simple as well. So this armrest cover basically goes on like a pillowcase. Just slides on like that. Make sure that this hole is on the top. And then, just like we did with the other flap before, we're gonna start feeding this one right up through here until it gets where I can grab it and fasten it together. Now, to make this look really nice, we're gonna take the whole cover here and tuck it behind this plastic trim. So I just start in that one corner, start working it around. You're gonna have to pull it a little bit. There we go. Now that's gonna give you that nice, clean, finished factory look. Now I'll just straighten this out. And there we go. We covered that one first because it was the hardest, and it really wasn't that bad. Now we'll do the bottom. This bottom piece is really simple. It's basically like this armrest cover, but just way bigger. Again, we'll start by undoing all hook and loop fasteners. And this big long piece of loop, this goes on the bottom of the seat. So we're gonna flip the seat up. And just put the cover on over top of it like this. Now we just start working it down. I like to have the seat bottom tipped at about 45 degrees like this, because it just makes it so that I can get my hands on top of it or underneath of it. Helps it to go quicker. Now with it tipped at an angle like this, we're gonna push all of these flaps between the back and the bottom. And having it tipped at an angle, just like when we did the back cover, it opens it up so much wider that you can just get your hands down in there, push the flaps around. There we go. Now, around where the seatbelt goes, we've got all this loose fabric. This just tucks down, pull the seatbelt receptacle up, and then we'll just tuck all of this down in there. We'll come back and finish this up completely once we get the cover all the way fastened on. So, lock the cover up like that. Undo this. And now, again, to pull these as tight as possible, it's a little bit harder than the back to just pull it up. So I usually pull it out tight like this, and then push it down, and then wrap it up and around. And this just gets you a really, really nice tight fit. With those done, we'll take these side flaps, pull these down, and stick them on. And there we go, we got the whole driver's side of the 60 portion completed except for the headrests. Now we'll go over to the passenger side, and we'll do the headrest last. On the passenger side here, the steps are all the same as the driver's side. It's just a lot smaller. So I'm not going to narrate my way through it. I'm just going to blow through this and get these covered. Because you saw me do it on the other side, and it is the same. There we go. Now we'll pop on the headrests and we are finished. Now on this little center headrest, it is much easier to cover when it is not installed. So you can see here how the cover kind of naturally wants to lay. That's how it goes on the headrest, like that. So we'll take the headrest and slide it inside the cover, just like that. Pull it up and around, and just tuck that flap inside, just like that. Ain't that pretty? That slides in, push the button, goes all the way down. Put the headrest back in, just line it up, and it clips into place. Don't push it down all the way, tip it forward. These headrests, the two outer ones, are a lot easier to cover when they're on the seat. So we'll slide the cover on just like that, make sure it's nice and tight, nice and square. This long flap here is hanging down the front. So what we do now is push it up underneath the headrest, pull it up the back like that, and then just fold that hook fastener over top, sticks together, and you're good to go. There you go, that's completed.